What should you be bringing to this year's Download Festival? Well, stick around and I'll tell you. What's up, dudes? I'm back with another video. Yes, it's that time again. Time for us to pack for Download Festival, of course. So this will be my essentials video. In this one, I will be giving you guys essentials that I think you will need to, you know, just survive at the festival. I'll be giving you guys some tips and then just other tidbits and things that I think you should bring to make yourself nice and comfortable. Now, this will be my 16th Download Festival, which is mind-blowing for me alone. That is absolutely insane. And I've been to a litany of other festivals as well. So I am quite experienced when it comes to this stuff, so I think I know what I'm talking about. Tell me so in the comments if you disagree. So for all you first timers, hopefully this should be very helpful, or people that are less experienced. And for all of you seasoned veterans, there might be a few things in here that you missed, or you think, oh, actually that's quite a good idea. So yeah, always enjoy doing these. So lots to go through. Let's get to it. Just before we start, I know times are really tough for everyone at the moment, so it's whatever you can afford to bring. You know, there are different levels of camping. Some people go the whole hog. I consider myself to be in the middle, where I have, you know, stuff that people wouldn't consider essential, but I have it because it makes me feel more comfortable. But it's not stuff that you probably need. It's just stuff that I want to go with. And then you have people that turn up with, you know, a one-person tent and one rucksack. So you could be any of these types of people, but I'm sure there will be something in here that could help you no matter what level of camping you're going to be doing. Now, let's start with the thing, obviously, that is going to keep you dry or keep you shielded from the sun. It's Download, you never know. Of course, it's your tent. Now, you do see people that go big and expensive and get these amazing tents, but for most people, we're going to be talking about mid-range to low-range tents that you would need to essentially survive Download. So I used, of course, the well-known tent that everyone kind of knows about, I think, the Sendero 4. They are still selling these tents now. They're around about £100 on most websites. It's a good, decent tent that will keep the rain off you if it's properly raining, or it'll be somewhere nice to sit that's a decent size if it's really, really sunny, or if it's a really, really good weather Download, fingers crossed. So that is a tent I would recommend. I'd say one thing that I had the older version of this tent, and the newer versions don't seem to be quite as good, but I have seen people that have bought them, you know, been inside, had a look, and they seem pretty decent. Now I've got the Rydell 500, which I say is a step up from the Sendero 4. So when my Sendero 4 sadly perished at Bloodstock, I decided to step it up a little bit and go to around, you know, the 200, almost £300 mark, and get myself a nice Rydell 500. But I have survived this festival multiple times in just a two-man tent by myself, and sometimes with another person. Now, the things that the tents won't tell you is they will say that a four-man tent is for 4 people. I would say that that is actually untrue. I would say that a four-man tent is for 2 people with stuff. In the drawings and diagrams they have for them, they never actually show stuff. They just show the people, like 4 little blobs that are supposed to represent people. So I would say if you're getting a 2-person tent, that is probably meant for 1 person and their stuff. It will be a real squeeze for 2, and then just follow that up. So 4-person for 2 people comfortably, and a 6-person for 4 people comfortably is what I would recommend. But you know, you see those crazy people in those little tents that look like coffins, and they seem to be fine. So just from my experience, I prefer a little bit more space. But if you're on a budget and you want to get a cheap one, I see people putting up bits on the Download groups about buying ones in Poundland. Now, I don't know how good that's going to be. It's probably going to be a really small tent, but for 1 person, I don't know how much worse it's going to be than, you know, scrimping out £100 more for an even better tent that is still classed as a 2-person. So yeah, I don't know, but anyway, a half decent tent will get you through Download no matter what the weather.
You can't expect the universe and its entire contents to be contained within the confines of a small canvas tent.
You're very philosophical for this time of night, Eddie.
Yeah, well, I've had half a bottle of scotch. What do you expect?
The next one, a decent sleeping bag. Now, I have mentioned this before. I made the mistake of many years not getting a decent sleeping bag and absolutely freezing in the evening. So no matter how hot it is at Download, even in 2023, the record hot year, it was still freezing cold in the night. So I think that a half decent sleeping bag is a really good purchase. You know, go £10 more, go £5 more than you were going to spend. Anything you can do to get the next level up from the very, very bottom basement sleeping bag. I can guarantee you won't regret it. Now you'll see some of these that say TOG on the side, or you have it on quilts and that. TOG stands for thermal overall grade. Now the higher the TOG, the better in low temperatures it will be. So, you might not want one that you would go to Everest for, because you might be absolutely boiling. But I think around a 1.5 to 2.5 TOG would be perfect for download in the evenings. You won't be too hot in them when you get up and it's really, really sunny, but you won't be freezing cold in them at night. So that's just my recommendation. Go a couple of quid extra if you can with the sleeping bag. You won't regret it. A half decent bag to carry your clothes or whatever you're going to put into it. Now, on the Dear Download podcast, I'll just plug it quickly here. Stu tells a great story of him buying a bag that was pretty cheap and literally every single strap on the thing breaking. So it is worth spending an extra few quid on a bag, or do what I did where I got one on sale that was like originally supposed to be 70 quid and it was down to like £40, and I was like, yes please, I'll have that. And I've had that since download 2019, so it's still going strong now with all of the straps working. So I would say a half decent bag will save you, nice padded straps so you can properly pack it out, carry it nice and comfortable. I see people struggling with all sorts of weird bags and all sorts of stuff. On the trolley front as well, I know this is quite like a big debate within the download community about what trolley to bring or what you should bring, what you shouldn't bring. I'll tell you one thing you definitely shouldn't bring, and it's like a travel bag. Don't bring a travel bag that you would go on holiday with the tiny little wheels that looks like a suitcase. That thing will not last 5 minutes at download. Anything really with small wheels, you see that Tesco's and the Range sell these little trolleys sometimes, and the wheels are like that big. Forget about it. Don't bother. They'll just break and you'll be forced to carry stuff. I would say that you'll need a wheel, probably, I don't know how many inches that is. I don't know how many inches that is, but something, okay, this is how we'll measure it. Something as big as my nose, my mouth, and my me trying to grow a beard. So there you go. That's about the size of the wheel that you will need to be perfect to download. I use like a trolley that you would use to take around the warehouse. That's the sort of thing that I bought. You can get those online. I think that's really good. Some of them have the hard plastic tires. My one's got the tires that you have to pump up. I feel like that's better on harder terrain, which most of these festivals are. But I wouldn't say that a trolley is essential, depending on the type of stuff you're going to bring. So I'd say a decent bag, a couple of big, Co-op or Sports Direct bags to carry your booze and, your food and all sorts of stuff in. And I think you'll be grand. But yeah, try and get a good backpack. You will thank me. Wellies, or Wellington boots, if you want to be posh about it. Now, I have made the mistake before of thinking, oh, this is going to be a really good weather year of download, I won't bring my wellies. And then years like 2016 happen where it's sunny for the first few days and then it rains profusely for the next 2. So I would say, as a massive recommendation, always have your wellies with you in some form. And what I do now is, if I think it's going to be a decent-ish weather download, I actually leave them in the car. So if the weather does change, I can always go and get them. If you're traveling by coach or train or any other way of doing that, obviously you don't have that luxury, but I would still recommend bringing them with you because it's British weather. You never know what's going to happen. I've got my fingers crossed this year that we won't need them, but you never know. So always best to have them and not need them. Okay, a quick tip for everyone. Now, I'm sure some of you will know this, some of you won't, some of you first timers may not. You do not need to take everything from the car to your campsite in one trip. Now, I have made this mistake multiple times where I have loaded myself up with everything, loaded my trolley, loaded my bags, and by the time you get to camp, you are absolutely knackered and it has zapped half your energy. I can guarantee you, even with the adrenaline running through you, be it download, it will make you more tired to take all of your stuff at once, and it just doesn't feel very good. It's not nice. So I've started doing a 2-trip method, although I think this year I'm going to do a 3-trip method because Vicky isn't coming with me to begin with. She's meeting us there, so I have to take everything myself. So I think I'm going to break 2 trips to the car into 3 trips in the car and just take it nice and easy each time. So on the first trip, I would normally take my trolley with, some food maybe, a couple of beers, my tent obviously, sleeping bag. Then on my back, I would have my big bag with my clothes and stuff in it. So I wouldn't take everything necessarily. It's kind of like a light first trip, just so you can, get to where your tent's going to be, set up with everyone. We do like to have a couple of beers while we're setting up, but everything you need to get your tent set up there so you can just hang around for a few minutes and then all of you can go back to the car. Well, that's how we do it anyway in our group. I don't know, it might be different in other groups obviously, but seriously, you don't need to just put loads of stuff on. You will just feel horrible. It's not worth it. Take a note from someone who has made this mistake loads of times. Do as many trips as you possibly can.
What's going on?
Sanders, what's going on? It's Mega Maid. She's gone from suck to blow.
What?
A blow-up mattress. Now, some people will tell you that that's not essential. I would beg to differ. I've spent some years laying on those horrific roll-out foam mats. They are horrific. They're bad for your back. It's just not good. So even the cheapest blow-up mattress is better than nothing. Trust me. Now, I've gone a level above that now, where we have a double camping bed with a double air mattress on it. Now, obviously, that's overkill for some people, and I'm going to have to do X trips this year to get there, because normally I would have Vicky helping me. So that's not essential, but the actual mattress, definitely. If you're sleeping by yourself, just get a single one. If you're in a couple or you're sleeping with friends, get a double or 2 singles, depending on how you're sleeping in conjunction with the tent. But trust me, you will thank me, because you do not want to be stuck on the floor in the fetal position, just feeling horrible and waking up the next day with a terrible back. So trust me, blow-up mattress, do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Right, let's talk about the weather, or bad weather, and we'll group some things together. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. So last year's download wasn't the best weather-wise. It did rain quite a bit, over the space of the weekend, and it was quite muddy in the arena. So if we know it's going to be, not a great weather year or a particularly bad weather year, I would say that bringing a rain coat or rain jacket is essential. I know people buy the sort of cheap ponchos, but I would recommend not doing that, because they won't keep you dry in really bad weather. So what I would say is get like one of those heavy duty ponchos that like covers your whole body, Unbreakable style, or get a really, really good raincoat. From like Sports Direct and other places, you can get pretty decent jackets for not that much money, and it really will help you if the weather is bad. Same goes for, I had waterproof trousers last year, so I even went, a step further than I was before. I wouldn't say that's essential, because like I said before, if you've got your wellies, you've got some jeans, you've got a waterproof coat, I think you'll be okay. I know some people obviously like to wear hats and other stuff like that, but those are just extra bits to be thrown on. But yeah, I would say as well, if it's going to be a bad weather year, to bring a towel with you. You won't really realise until you've been at a bad weather festival how much a towel can come in handy, especially, drying your feet, drying your hair, just putting down so you can put your feet on it. I mean, you can use it to dry your tent if anything's come in there. Obviously, you can use tissue to do that, but you don't want to waste all of your tissue doing that as well. So just those few things really do help when it's a bad weather year. Of course, I'm trying not to jinx it. I've got my fingers crossed for hopefully a good weather year, but of course, as I said before, you never know. So yeah, get your waterproof jackets, get your waterproof trousers if you can, bring a towel, and just anything really to keep the rain off of you. Trust me, it will help. Something I consider 100% essential are baby wipes, or face wipes, whatever type of wipes you want to call them. Now, unlike some people, and this isn't a dig at anyone at all, I don't want to spend my holiday, if you can call download a holiday, queuing for showers. So I would rather do what we call in our group of friends a baby wipe wash. So, do all of your areas, do everything you can do. You can do every single bit of yourself. You can do your ears, you can do literally everything, toes, with baby wipes, and you will be clean. Obviously once you've used all your smellies and creams, whatever the hell everyone's doing these days. But I would rather do that than stand in the queue for showers. I feel personally like it's a waste of my time, which is very minimal at download. As we all know, those 5 days absolutely fly by. So they come in handy for that, but they don't just come in handy for cleaning yourself. You can clean your shoes if it's muddy, you can clean your tent. The amount of times People have spilt their drinks in my tent, or I've spilt something in my tent, cleaned it up, no problem. If you haven't had your tent out for ages and your tent's, you know, covered in mud, I've had it before where it's been wet the year before and I haven't taken my tent out because I didn't have a garden at the time. So I used the wipes to, you know, wipe all the mold or whatever the hell was left on my tent. So these things are essential because they're just so good at doing everything. So I'll put tissue on the end of this one as well. I personally bring tissue with me to obviously go to the toilet and stuff. I think because Download are quite good with the toilets there. You know, they do stock up the toilet tissue and stuff, but I always have a bit in one of my pockets just in case, because you don't want to be caught short in a festival toilet and not have any toilet paper. That is going to be seriously embarrassing or horrible if you don't have anything to wipe with. I know people that have used socks and underwear before, and yeah, it's not a good thing when you have to do that. Just take tissue with you so it doesn't happen. So yeah, baby wipes, a must, and also take, I'd say, just one roll of tissue with you. Trust me, you'll thank me.
And I guarantee you'll hit the hay the second that your head hits the mattress.
Okay, something that I never used to consider essential, but now I do. Times have changed. It's a pillow. Now, I literally used to just use my bag or use clothes or whatever, literally to sleep on. Thinking back now, I'm thinking, what an idiot. Why didn't I just bring a pillow so I would be comfortable while sleeping? So I would say any half decent pillow that's good for you. As you can see behind me, we're in the spare room right now. So that is the quilt and pillow that I take to download. So a quilt, I wouldn't say would be essential necessarily, because you would obviously be in your sleeping bag. But what I do is take a sleeping bag and a duvet and put the duvet over the sleeping bag and then have my pillow as well. So, you know, I'm extra comfy, extra toasty. So yeah, definitely bring a pillow. I would highly recommend that. I've used the blow up pillows before. I think I bought that from literally from Poundland. That lasted me a few years. That was pretty good, actually, not bad. But the difference between that and actually, you know, just a normal pillow is actually night and day. So I do think it's better to just have a standard one. You can buy them there from Fat Frank's, not a sponsor, and all the other places there. They do sell them. So if you do turn up and go, oh man, I forgot my pillow, they sell those, and they sell duvets and stuff. That duvet behind me is a duvet I bought at Download and thought, I'm not buying these every year. So I bought it, brought it back. It's obviously now in the spare room, and that's what I bring to Download every year. So you can buy them there and then reuse them if you think obviously that's not going to be an extra cost for you every year. So yeah, pillow, definitely essential. Another thing I consider essential, and I'm sure it's pretty essential for everyone these days, of course, because we've all got phones and all sorts of gadgets. Of course, I do vlogging, so I need extra battery power because it drains your battery like nothing else. It's portable chargers. Now, I have multiple chargers that I've sort of gathered over the years. I have 5 or 6 sort of smaller chargers. I know some people I've seen get the absolutely mega ones, which are insane, but I normally carry one spare one in my bum bag. That's right, I bring a bum bag. That is definitely another essential for me. I just put that one on this bit. So I have it in the bum bag for when I'm vlogging. So I always have, you know, a lead in there attached to my phone, so my phone doesn't drain battery. Obviously, when you're in the arena, you're away from all of your stuff. You don't want to have to walk all the way back from camp. So in my bum bag, I always have one portable charger with me just to save battery, you know, especially if you're going off seeing other bands. You don't want your phone to run out and then you can't find your mates or anything like that. I know the signal's terrible at Download, but it's always nice to have, you know, some charge on your phone so you can find some way of finding people. So there's all sorts of reasons why I would recommend portable chargers, but I'd recommend sort of an average sized one, not one of the giant ones. But I suppose if you're just going to keep that one at camp, then what's the difference? So yeah, portable chargers, a definite must. Torches and lanterns, definitely a must for any festival. But at Download, in the evenings, the campsites can get really, really dark, especially if you're not near any of the illuminated walkways. I know that light can travel quite far sometimes, depending on how far out from those you are, but you will need a torch or a lantern. I highly recommend them. The worst bit is when you're looking for something in your tent in the evenings. You know, if you don't have a light, you are going to find it terrible to find anything. Now, I know we all have them on our phones, but the essential thing at Download is to save as much phone battery as you can. So the less you can use your phone torch, the better. So I'd recommend any torch or lanterns. I got 2 lanterns for 20 quid from Tesco like 3 or 4 years ago, and they're still going strong now. They take like 3 or 4 AA batteries. Again, you can get those from Poundland as well. They've lasted me ages. The little torches are really good as well. Again, Poundland or Tesco's, just get the cheap ones. You know, all of those little small LED ones, they're all the same quality now. I don't think it really matters how far you go up until you get to the real high-end stuff. I've seen some people with the headlamps as well. I think Chids uses a headlamp. That's a great idea. I've never thought of doing that before or bought one because I've always got the little torches anyway. But a headlamp is a good idea because, yeah, it will literally illuminate anywhere you look. So yeah, get yourself one of those or all of those, depending on how far out you want to go with this. But yeah, definitely essential in the evenings. You will need a torch, some sort of lantern.
Oh, man. I think I cooked myself. Look at your skin. Oh, stick a fork in me, Jerry. I'm done.
Suntan lotion or sun oil, I don't know how everyone refers to it, but anyway, something to protect your skin from that giant ball of hydrogen helium in the sky with these horrific UV rays. Now, I was one of those people back in the day, I will admit it, probably for the first 5 or 6 years I was going to download, I put on absolutely no suntan oil lotion at all. So I'm sure that will come back to haunt me at some point. Fingers crossed it doesn't. But now I am lathering myself in head to toe if the weather is good. You will not believe how many times I got sunburnt when it's overcast. So those UV rays still come through, you know, they still hit your skin, they're still really bad for you. So I would say obviously over certain temperatures you definitely need to put something on your skin. Something that I've realized not enough people do it. I know even people I still company with today, I'm like, do you want some? They're like, no, I don't bother. I'm like, that's just a really bad idea. So I'm not trying to preach anything to anyone, but trust me, in the long run it will be worth it, and it only takes, you know, a couple of minutes just to slather it on your face, and you know, it's just protecting your skin basically. So for me, it's a massive essential. Another essential thing that I also never took back in the day, really weird, because I'm a squinter when it's sunny. So back in the day, I would sit a download just doing that, rather than just bringing sunglasses with me like an absolute idiot. So yeah, I always make sure now I have some sunglasses in the car and some sunglasses with me basically at all times, because yeah, it will be easy on your eyes. And again, with all the UV rays, I don't want to be watching a band like that when I could just be wearing sunglasses instead. So sunglasses and suntan lotion or sun oil, whatever you want to refer to it as, is definitely a must if the weather's good. Again, fingers crossed. Okay, a couple of quick fire bits before I move on to food and drink. Lip balm would be something I would bring because you don't want chapped lip at download. It's horrible. Rennies would be another thing that I would bring, just because I suffer from really bad heartburn these days if I'm drinking all weekend. And trust me, trying to sleep with heartburn is literally the worst thing ever. Rehydration sachets are something I would recommend. Normally they're used for when you have diarrhea to replace all of your electrolytes and everything you've lost. But after a night of drinking, I really feel like in the morning after one of these, if you leave it for about an hour, you feel incredible. So you can get the Diarylyte ones that are more expensive, but from my personal experience, the Tesco's, Sainsbury's, all of those cheaper ones work just as well. Black bags is something that I bring as well, just to keep camp tidy, or you know, if it's a really wet year, I put all of my clothes into black bags and then put them in my bag, because trust me, after download 16, when everything of mine got absolutely wrecked, trust me, I've been bringing black bags ever since. Dry shampoo is another one for me as well, that obviously just spray into my hair just to keep it good. Or I would just, you know, get some water and just wash my hair and bring like those miniatures of shampoo. So sometimes I bring a miniature of shampoo with me just in case. You know, bring moisturizer and all that sort of stuff as well. So a few other bits, but I do recommend getting the holiday miniatures because you don't need to bring giant things, and download are funny about sizes of stuff, which we'll get to. Deodorant cans, they say you can't bring over a certain amount. I've never had a deodorant can taken off of me before, but it has been known to happen. So, you know, you get like the XL Lynx, for instance. Don't be bringing them, because there may be a chance if someone sees it, they'll take it off you and then you won't have any deodorant the whole time, so there's no point. A water carrier is something I would definitely recommend. I'm not saying it's essential, you know, you could bring a water bottle, but obviously you'd have to keep going back and forth to the water point to fill that up. In the arena, that would be quite good, although you'll have to empty it before you go in. But I would say at camp to have a water carrier. again, you can get these from Poundland, Tesco's, you know, all the sort of normal camping places, and you just fill it up, leave it inside your tent, and you can use that to, you know, cook with, use it to drink, use it to clean, or anything you need it for, basically. So that is a real good one. And painkillers as well, you know, bring your tablets, however you want to do, ibuprofen or paracetamol. Yes, that's how I say it. I'm from London. So, you know, any of the sort of bits from like the pharmacy that you would recommend or you need, I would say bring with you. But those are just a few little quickfire bits that I can't live without, and they're always in my bag. Right, let's talk about alcohol. Now, there's been a lot of talk, obviously, on the Download website that it says you're only allowed 1 times 24 crates per person plus 1 litre of spirit. I'm not sure why they put that on there. I've never seen them enforcing any limits of alcohol on people. I've never seen them taking stuff off of people. Now, that's what I haven't seen. I don't know if that's actually happening on Download. If you're a first timer, I wouldn't be really worried about it necessarily. You know, I bring more alcohol than that personally, but I'm sure other people don't. But then you have people that go to the massive extremes where they come in with, you know, 10 stacks of, you know, crates of God knows what, and probably half of it doesn't get drunk. So what I would say is bring all the alcohol you're actually going to drink, because I'm sure these people who come in with these giant crates, you know, carrying them on the trolley, I'm sure they don't drink half of it and it all goes to waste. So there's no point in carrying it and struggling. Bring the alcohol that you need, that you think you're going to drink. There is a co-op on site with Download, so we'll go into the food bit and like sort of put these two things together. So if you do run out of alcohol, there is alcohol in co-op. Now, for the naysayers, they're always like,
oh, you don't want to go to co-op, oh god, it's so expensive, it's so much more than it usually is.
Well, it is a festival, so it is going to be a higher price than you would have it in a normal co-op shop. But I would say if you get the members card, it does bring it down a bit. So then it is only a couple of quid more than you would be paying, excuse me, you know, in a normal co-op or in a supermarket. So I don't really worry about bringing too much alcohol with me, because if I do run out of that, which is very rare, you can always go to the co-op and get stuff. Same for food. You know, what I'll do now is I'll get like a meal deal from there, you know, maybe every other day for lunch. I have sort of gone back into the realms now of only bringing stuff with me that I will cook, and then eating out sort of every day, once a day. Download can get really expensive if you do want to eat out every single day. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, because there are tons of great food vendors at Download. But personally, I'm trying to save money these days as much as I can. So I bring stuff with me that I cook and I make, and then I will eat out once a day at Download, whether that be, you know, breakfast, lunch or dinner. I'll pick that meal throughout the day. But normally I would do breakfast. I won't give away how I cook food, because I don't want to encourage people to, you know, do anything that they're not supposed to do. So I won't go into that. But I do try and bring stuff with me, and then I don't necessarily need everything while I'm there, and I can just go and buy 1 meal a day and be happy with that and not spend too much money. But other people are different. They like to go, they see it as a holiday, they save up all year and they eat out every single meal. More power to you guys. You know, if you can save that amount of money, awesome. We already know how expensive the ticket and everything can be. So if you've got any money left, more power to you. You enjoy yourselves. But for first timers, there is an actual co-op store on site, so I wouldn't worry too much about how much you're bringing with you. Yeah, so there you go, guys. Those are the essentials that I think that you need to get through the festival. Obviously, I haven't done everything in this video. You know, I could spend an hour talking about all the little things that you might want or you might want to take. I'm going to do a packing video where I show you guys what I'm bringing in its entirety to Download, so look out for that. That will have a lot more detail in it. But these are the things I think that you will need essentially to have a nice, comfortable stay at this year's Download Festival. Thank you very much to my patrons that have been on the screen. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to come support me over on Patreon, the link is in the description. There's loads of cool stuff and vlogs and all sorts of stuff that you don't get on YouTube. To everyone else, thank you very much. You know, it's just great to see all of you liking, commenting and just watching the videos. Like I said before, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it. It would really help me out, and I just want to bump those numbers up as high as they will go. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you dudes in the next video. You should go and subscribe to my channel, just because. Come on, subscribe.